Ian's back with us one more time, and Ian, you got to play a console that you didn't play before. You actually wanted to play another one, but that didn't pan out. What console did you play?
It was the Panasonic 3DO.
Okay, so we played Road Rash, Crash and Burn, and Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo. What was your overall experience with the Panasonic 3DO?
I kind of liked it. It's
weird, isn't it?
It's not terrible, but you can see it's in that kind of bridge where the formats were changing and CDs were coming in and they were heavy on the FMV, and the more traditional games are kind of
full motion video
in that bridge.
FMV.
Street Fighter is good. It's a good port, but
I fell asleep when you played Street Fighter.
I don't know what happened with it. What did we get? 4 guys in?
Oh yeah, we couldn't beat Zangief in round 4.
Oh, and his crazy random headbutts that last their whole life.
And then it had a nuclear hand that blocked the sonic boom.
It was like a glitch as well. We were kind of going through his animation, or he would step through an attack animation every time.
And he grabbed me and did the bear hug thing, and I was tapping, and I couldn't tap out.
Yeah.
Okay, so the full motion video character select screen of Crash and Burn. We were discussing this, the three of us earlier.
It is the year 2095.
So,
UFOs suddenly storm Mars.
That was Burning Soldier, whatever it was called. But yeah, there is like, that's the infancy of full motion video, and we were talking about how the production value is so low.
Yeah.
Like, but not even just that. It's
There's only one rule: don't mess up. Don't ever mess up. That's your downfall on the race.
The one character looked like he had a clown wig that was bought at the dollar shop.
What do you think the basis of that is? Why was the production so low on those games?
Well,
is it just the studios?
I think it was new and they were experimenting with it, so they're not going to pour a ton of money in it. But
there's a difference between a dollar store clown wig and thinking, hey, this is going to be in a game forever.
Yeah.
Yeah, if we're going to do full motion video.
We were even talking about how the very first Twisted Metal on PS1 had some of those same like live action cutscenes that were just brutal. And they're not only brutal production-wise, but the acting, the costumes, I guess that is production, but...
The original Resident Evil had that brutal...
The intro, yeah.
And they redid it when they did the HD remake and they actually rendered it all, but yeah, the first Resident Evil had the awful
But that is such a special time in video games. I absolutely love the mid-90s.
It's interesting because
weird. It makes me feel weird and I love it.
Everybody thought it was the future.
Yeah, absolutely.
And now?
Not so much.
Not so much over here.
Probably a good point then, yeah. Or did you have something to say? You have something funny to say?
No, not important. Go ahead.
Okay, I want to record a little blurb for last week's Patreon. It's literally like a sentence, so just throw it in there.
Okay.
And actually, it's got when's the next one come out?
Thursday.
So today's the 27th?
Literally no clue what day or what time it is.
The first.
20. Okay. Oh, perfect. Okay. So this is for everyone then. You got to put it at the top of the episode then, and it'll be for everyone.
Okay, so sorry. This is
an announcement that I needed. This
when you said it's for Patreon, you mean it's a Patreon?
No, this is for everyone now.
Okay.
This is on the free one. Okay.
All right.
Sorry to mess up. Ladies and gentlemen, finally we can announce Nintendo Quest is on sale. NintendoQuest.com. Go there, click, buy it now. It'll take you to the link and be your preferred platform, whether you want digital or an actual physical DVD. NintendoQuest.com. Yes, it is finally out, and I can't wait for you guys to see it. Game on. That's enough.
Also awesome.
I really hope that it's out October 1st.
It's just still a possibility it won't be.
I really hope that it's out October 1st. Okay, we can start this week's show.
This week's show.
Wow.
Shuffle lunch.
We can start this week's show, the old chap. Welcome to another GamerCast. I'm Patrick.
I'm Patrick Sweet.
I'm Patrick Highlander. Welcome to another GamerCast, guys. Pretty excited. We have our friend Ian Hook, all the way still here. I don't think you got a return ticket.
Woo!
Hi.
Yes.
Joining us once again live from Studio Bartlon. And of course, speaking of the host, our video game rockstar personality himself, Mr. Jay Bartlett.
Recovering from some sweet 3DO time right now.
Amongst other events this week. And then, of course, producing and editing, as always, Mr. Glenn Stanway.
What's up, my friends?
And I am your host, Dan McCallum. Sometimes.
Video game Dan McCallum.
Video game Dan McCallum, sometimes known as Rob McCallum. Pack show, got a lot to go over. This should come out on October 7th or 8th, depending on how those days line up. I can't quite add, because I'm not on the metric system anymore.
I think it's the 8th.
The 8th, okay, we'll go with the 8th. And Nintendo Quest should have been on sale for a week. If not, hopefully it's on sale by now. We're still working out some of the technical details. It was supposed to go on sale October 1st. The important thing is, go to NintendoQuest.com, get it digitally, via Vimeo exclusively, from what I understand, or click to order a DVD through a print-on-demand partner of ours, which is pretty exciting, I think. Speaking of Nintendo Quest, though, are you guys trading beers yet?
No.
I think it's fair. You should have this one.
No, you're good.
He's drinking the Bud Light. He's on the Bud Light kick.
I'm on the Bud Lights.
Only the kind of gripping content you can find here on GamerCast.
Yeah,
Forget about it.
we're over here.
Only if you give us money, though.
Yes. Speaking of weekend activities, and we'll get to those 3DO comments maybe a little bit more in depth as we wind down what happened on the weekend. Guys, really, really big night. Ian, I think fans want to know, was it worth your 9,000-mile travel to come and see? I mean, Nintendo Quest premiered in our hometown at the Highland Cinema, thanks to FM96 and Game Cycle as our sponsors. Ian, what did you think? We'll start with you.
I liked it.
Okay, well. Brevity is the soul of wit.
Hey, it was not bad over here.
Hey, not so bad.
Yeah, it's a good film. I think you did a good job.
Not so much.
Slow down with the compliments there.
Yeah.
Is there anything? Okay, so I interviewed you after for the Power Tour, as I usually do, and I always ask
I was
those people.
falling asleep at the time.
Yeah, you didn't make it out to the after party.
That was tough.
That's no fault of yours.
That was tough.
That was limb night.
Yeah,
That was limb night.
yeah, limbs. I always ask people at the Power Tour afterwards 2 questions. What did you like about the movie, without giving anything away?
Without giving anything away?
Yeah.
I'm going to have to think about this.
Well, you mentioned you really liked the music to me, that you thought some of the animations were nice.
Yeah, the animation was very good. I definitely enjoyed that. The music was good. Without making it a spoiler, I don't know if this is a spoiler or not, but I'm going to say it, maybe.
We can always edit this out.
Yeah, I was surprised by how the film turned around and the personal story of Jay, which is not something I kind of thought was coming in it.
Right.
So yeah, that was good.
That's not a
we
spoiler.
can't edit that, I'm sorry.
Yeah. Why can't we edit that?
My mouse doesn't work anymore.
Oh, all right.
No, okay.
No, that we've talked about how this is
Yeah.
definitely a personal tale of Jay, and sure, the challenge is front and center, but it's really about this guy who has this dream of getting a complete set like so many collectors. But to care about the guy, you got to know about him, and then you see what he goes through. So that's a very fair comment. Why do you think people should watch this? You know, if they have a chance to go to a screening, what would you say to motivate them to get them off the couch?
It's possibly the second best film you'll ever watch in your life. Maybe the first.
Okay. Well,
Wow.
that's
Look at that. Listen to that.
That's a lot to take in.
So, I think of this as a journey for you too, Ian. Like beyond just
This
like,
has been a journey for sure.
yeah, like the 9,000
And I
miles
know what the
aside.
highlight is, unfortunately.
But I take it back. Like you've been on board with this film for 2 years, right? Like you've been along for the ride for
it
almost
has
the entire
been.
time.
It has been about 2 years. Yeah.
So this is the culmination of a journey for you too. How does that feel?
Good. The whole thing's been exciting. It's been good. It's been good to come out and meet all of you guys. Although there was no real surprise in it because I felt like I knew you all anyway. Really.
I'm afraid to ask this question.
Go for it.
You had been interacting with us online for 2 years,
Yeah.
and then you met us in person.
I've seen this in a dream.
Um,
I've heard this in a dream.
we may have covered this a little bit on GamerCast last week, but now that you've seen the film and spent even more time with us,
Yeah.
are we who we say we are online? I'm so afraid to ask.
Yeah. No, you are completely. Absolutely. Yeah, you are as genuine and real as I thought you would be.
Here's a question for you. What's the one thing about each of us that has surprised you since meeting us in person.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
What a
man.
great question.
What a great question.
Yeah.
That's going to be a drinking game for anybody that goes back to episode 1.
Oh,
Anytime you hear,
oh,
oh man, take a drink.
It's the very first thing Jay says on any of our episodes.
It's my trademark.
Yeah.
It's his trademark to like those questions dump us.
Oh man.
I really don't know. I don't know. You're all exactly as I thought you would be. I'm not sure if anything has really surprised me. Perhaps that maybe you're even more genuine than I thought you would be.
I'm gonna cry.
That's very nice.
I'm actually gonna
It's
cry.
getting nice and comfy in here.
Yeah.
Good away. Marco, wait though.
What are you doing?
No, this is something that's been kind of hanging in my mind all weekend. I want this trip to be worth it for you too.
It has been.
And I know it's been a really great experience for me getting a chance to get to know you and hang out with you.
I'll be back for sure. I'm coming back.
Absolutely,
I'm
man.
coming back.
I hope so.
We talked about this, that Ian, depending on his travel schedule, might be the first person outside of the inner circle, if we can even say that about him, to play the NES game based on the film. And wouldn't that be a remarkable thing for Ian to come here as we open that case and see all those NES carts and to be the first one to put it in the system?
Give me the dates. I'll come. I'll do it.
I don't think there's anyone who deserves it more.
Nor do I.
Is it? For
Well,
real.
your actions speak pretty loud, man. It's definitely not a fan competition. It's pretty. I don't even know how I feel. I can't say enough of what it means to me that you came this far, and I know I've pointed you out in every possible public opportunity that you did.
It's been great.
Kinda
But
put you on the
that's
spot after the
that's
screening, yeah.
how much it means to me, because I don't think I can. I mean, thank you. Doesn't even do it justice, but thanks,
You're
man.
welcome.
It's been a pleasure to get to know you.
Seriously, yeah.
And I will say that I don't think you're quite like I expected you to be.
What did you expect?
Someone who's probably a little more cheeky and sarcastic all the time
Yeah.
and pushing buttons, and I knew we would have a good time at the pub, but you're definitely much more down to earth and genuine, and just care about your common dude.
I think it's awesome how you just have kind of quietly just become just another one of the guys. You know, you're just another part of the crew.
You tolerate us. We've adopted Ian, aka
Captain EO.
Hey, Captain EO over here. We've adopted Ian into our fake Italian family. We called him Marco.
Marco's over
Yeah,
here.
that's a rare gift.
Not everybody gets adopted.
Becoming a wise
pleasure
guy.
to join that family.
Yeah.
You got made.
Just like that. So it just got made.
What did you guys think of the Highland screening? Because of course we've been to a bunch of other stops so far. Jay, I'm going to save it for you, because you and I we just did our power tour outro, because I needed a couple days to think about it.
It was
meant.
pretty heavy experience, so yeah, we need to chill a bit before.
But Glenn, what did you think of the Highland experience? It was a little bit different for you, because I didn't even need to lean on you so much as a crew personality for that.
Yeah, that was something that was unexpected. I definitely expected to have a role that was kind of more similar to what I've been doing on the other.
It was kind of by design, though, to be completely honest, because we had Sarah Burke from FM96 be the MC, which we had gotten you to do usually.
Yeah.
But usually you do a lot of heavy lifting with the sales and stuff after, and just generally coordinating. And that's not to say you weren't doing a lot of stuff during the day. You were playing taxi cab quite a bit to make sure people got around.
It was yet another packed day full of, getting from point A to point B and trying to get a lot of stuff done in not nearly enough time. And the screening itself was chaos. I mean, we didn't anticipate getting into the theater as late as we did.
There was some
we were gonna be up
logistic-
against having a film behind us.
Yeah.
So there's some complications there I don't think we foresaw, and I know we had these huge grand plans that really just didn't shake out at the end of the day.
Yeah,
but,
there were some theme songs mix-ups, but we're going to have to try to find a way to get around that, too.
But I mean, it was an incredible experience, man. Once the chaos kind of settled, and I got a chance to sit down, with my girlfriend and the family, and I was in a row in front of Jay's mom, and a bunch of her friends were all surrounding us and saying hello, kind of coming in and everything.
That's awesome.
Very cool.
Really great experience to get to see the film with all those people, and I know how invested a lot of those guys and girls are in the final product, and kind of forgetting how many of them hadn't seen it in light of the fact that I've seen the film like a dozen times now.
I wonder if any of them had the Stanway syndrome as they sat down.
I bet they did.
What's been come to know as the Stanway
somebody did.
syndrome?
What's the Stanway syndrome? Why don't you
what
explain
is
to
that?
everyone what
I've
the
talked
Stanway
about it
syndrome
so
is?
many times, though.
Just the quick version.
None of the podcast,
Stanway
though.
syndrome first occurred when we did the test screening at UWO in London last summer. Rob was screening the film for an audience for the first time. He wanted to get a sense of how the cut flowed and how it played for an audience. and it was a friends and family screening, really, really low key, very, very small, invite only. And as we sat down and the lights went down and Rob was prepping the film to start rolling, I had this kind of cold fear in my gut just suddenly spring out of nowhere. And I had this very clear thought in my head, which is, what do I do if this movie sucks? What do I do?
Knowing that we've been doing the podcast for 4 to 5 months at that point, and you're going to see us like every other weekend.
Yeah, I've been helping you try to sell this movie basically for 4 to 5 months at that point. I contributed to the Kickstarter campaign. I've been sharing the links everywhere. I've been trying to get you guys some attention and get people helping you make it. And I knew how much it meant to you, but I had this moment of horror where I was like, oh my God, what do I do if this is terrible? How do I face these guys?
Did you ever experience a little bit of Stanway syndrome there, Ian, or where you just knew it was going to be all right, or it didn't matter?
I knew it was going to be good, for sure.
Yeah.
Shut
up, Lemmy.
I love.
Jeez, Stan Buck firing shots across the table.
Wow.
I kid.
I knew it was going to be good. I mean, I wouldn't be here now if I wasn't instantly taken up with the film from seeing the initial trailer.
So you would have just left after the screening, kind of like you did. That kind of put a little fear in my heart. I interview you. How'd you like it? Oh, it's great. Yeah, why would people see it? Oh, it's just good. And then, I'll see you at the after party. Yeah, sure. Ian takes off. We don't see him for 3 days.
Never see him again. Changes his name on Facebook.
Well, in Ian's defense, we've been going so hard.
It's been high octane.
I have expected like 5 minutes into the film that I'd see this British guy stand up 4 rows back from the front and go, bollocks! And just storm
rubbish.
We've been rocking, and we were talking before the screening, and he was just like, what'll I do if I fall asleep? I'm like, you're not gonna fucking fall asleep. Are you kidding me right now?
It was close. It was really hard to stay awake through it. And that's nothing to do with the film, of course. But,
yes, you got put through the ringer.
I was that tired. I really was that tired.
Well, you're dealing with jet lag and everything.
5 hour time difference.
An 8-hour flight. An 8-hour flight.
Hey, but guys, I live in Las Vegas, even though I'm from London originally. But I live in Las Vegas, so there's a 3-hour difference between Vegas, where I live, and London, where I'm from. I mean, I realize I'm from London and I come up here enough, but living in Vegas, the 3-hour time difference for me.
I've never even seen these before.
Never even seen them before.
Never even seen these before.
New Quest.
Well, you got to come up to make sure that you see those bands that are just.
I saw these bands before. Amazing. They're just, oh my God, they're so mother effing. Those guys. I got to be MC at our pre-screening launch party, and that was pretty fun. That's what some of
big thanks to Joe Bonacia for putting on
and Rum Runners.
An awesome show at Rum Runners. Brandon Edie, of course.
And all the bands that came out, so you guys rock.
Schemes is responsible for my favorite line of dialogue in the film, actually.
Yeah, there you go.
It's at the end where you do the flashback.
All right, day 1, 5:14. He has until 5:14 p.m. on day 30. Hang on a second, I'm getting a text message from Schemes.
And I love it because it's inside. And it's fun.
Yeah, so, no, it's a good thing.
That's one that no one's ever laughed at before, like that line, which they shouldn't because they wouldn't understand.
Well, yeah. But Schemes was in the audience, so I think he laughed and it got things going.
I imagine we're going to talk about that a little bit, like
what Schemes
reactions.
Well, I want to hear. I want to hear. You mentioned what you thought. Now, Jay, tell me what you thought of the screening going into it, and maybe kind of how it was starting to unfold before us.
Well, initially I was, to be honest, not as excited as the rest because I love going to these different cities, meeting these new people, limbs, and just hanging out and having a great time. Coming home, I knew it was going to be a lot of family and friends. And then, the nervousness started to set in. I started to panic as I realized my mom was going to be there. Your parents, grandparents are going to be there. Friggin' Ian's going to be there from England. Stan Prick and his team is going to be there.
Stan Buck and his clan.
And my cousins were going to be and all that stuff. And then FM 96, and then it's like, okay, yeah. I'm not leaving this city after, It's like I live here, so.
I think what really honestly did it for me, like, I knew that we had sold early in the day, like, 250 tickets, and we had counted out, like, another 80. But everybody, like, whoosh, filed in, okay? And then Sarah Burke's talking to us because she's our MC, and that was cool.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, there's, like, the whole theater is pretty much full, man. And then there's this massive line at the top. I'm like, are people just hanging out? Like,
these people just kept coming.
I'm like, are these people going to sit down or what's going on? And then I go there and I realize that the concession stand is so long that it's winding back into the theater and halfway down the seating. And I'm like, hey, how's it going? Like, oh, we're just waiting for popcorn. I'm like, oh, yeah, okay. Yeah.
I didn't see the line outside until the day after. Jay,
Oh,
when
yeah.
He posted that amazing black and white shot of the lineup in front of
That
the
was
pylon.
actually
Craig,
our buddy Craig Durand. Yeah, he posted that. Yeah.
And that was incredible.
That's
And
amazing.
I didn't get a sense of the scope of it until that theater was filling up. It's like
Neither
we knew
did
there
we.
we knew there were a lot of
Neither
people
did
there. We knew that, right? On some level, we had numbers in our heads.
But it always feels like there's a lot of people, right, at all these things, and
And they
then
just kept coming.
and this just didn't end.
It was like 20 minutes after our scheduled start time. I think we ended up rolling. It was quite late.
What did you feel on stage, Jay, when we got up there to introduce? Sarah said a nice few words about, her connection to Nintendo and the film, and then she introduced us, Jay Bartlett, Dan McCallum, and...
Well, I mean, we were standing up there, and there were so many people in almost every seat in the theater that I couldn't. It was almost blinding. I couldn't recognize anyone. Where before there's been sporadic sections of
everywhere
no
I kept,
one there.
everywhere
and,
I looked, I knew someone, and I knew someone, and
Yeah,
I didn't want to feel like I was speaking to them.
Did you feel like you had to address? Like we saw
Yeah.
Skylar, we saw Zach, and it was like okay, but I tried to address everyone, and at the same time, no one.
Yeah.
It was crazy. I was very nervous.
Yeah, I mean, I was nervous for that reason, but somewhat unrelated to Nintendo Quest, there was a couple trailers that were going to make the world premiere too, and that was pretty nerve-wracking for me because...
Before you get into details about the actual trailers, I just thought it was really cool that there was stuff playing before ours. Like, ours was the feature, and then there was, of course, the trailer for the Kitty Doc, which looks amazing, by Dan McCallum.
It really,
Yeah,
that trailer
really,
had a great
really,
ass,
You know,
yeah.
first announced the Masters of the Universe He-Man doc that Rob is a part of, and the Batman movie, I forget the name.
Good night.
Night.
The
Good night,
yeah,
aka
which was
Batman.
awesome, too.
It was
by the way.
great, yeah.
Yeah, so I was really nervous for... I was nervous for those the documentary trailers that were going on there because Kitty was in the audience, Morgan, Mercedes, and Tara had come down from Toronto just to see the trailer. She stayed, of course, for Nintendo Quest, but she came down to see the world premiere of the trailer.
That's wicked.
And then, we didn't know how that He-Man documentary was going to go over because we didn't say anything to anybody. I think, Jay, you knew, and Glenn, you had guessed what was going on because I had
That's
mentioned...
my
Yeah, you said, does it have anything to do with fabulous secret powers?
How many
things.
screenings has there been before this one?
This was the 7th.
This is the 7th.
Yeah.
How did the others go for you? I'm going to say this
Well,
one.
I know you listen to GamerCast and you have heard us
Yeah.
talk about them all after the fact.
Okay.
Busted. Well, what's your main question with regards to how it's been received?
Just how did the other ones feel to you? I mean, I'm
By
obviously
comparison,
gonna-
or-
Yeah. I mean, are there any others that stick out that were went really well, or you thought that the crowd was really popping for it?
I think the biggest difference is because of, unfortunately, the logistics. When the film finished, everybody kind of left, and there was only a fraction of people that stayed behind on this one. Everybody was there for the Q&A, but another film was playing to screen after ours.
Yeah.
Whereas all the other screenings either had a huge meeting space outside the theater, or there was extra time after to mingle around.
Yeah.
So everybody kind of fled, and it was past midnight too.
What's really been crazy in all the U.S. cities we've been to is to see the increasing number of people who are hanging around because they want to talk to Jay, they want to talk to Rob. They want to tell them how much this film has touched them and how impressed they were by the film, and they want to get a sense of who they want to talk to Jay. They want to see that Jay is the guy in real life that he is on the screen, which I think Rob did such an incredible job of.
Yeah, that kid in Columbus said, "I just saw you on screen. Now here you are in front of me, man."
Yeah.
There's a kid in Columbus who literally could not reconcile himself with the fact that he had just seen Jay in a movie.
And then saw him in
That's
person, was
crazy.
shaking his hand and hugging him, and he got us to sign the stuff. He didn't care about Dan McCallum, but he saw Jay.
That was cool.
He's the rock star.
He is. He's the star of the movie.
And
That's
then,
the way it should be.
there was the one, the beautiful lady in Du Bois that also suffers from anxiety, and she said that, my story... No, it's hard to say. But her story kind of... hang on one second.
She saw some of herself in you and what you go through.
Yeah, it's emotional, man, to know that my personal story has touched someone and they find some kind of... I don't know, but like redemption, like
Connection?
It's an understanding. They feel relief because they're not...
They're like, I'm not alone, man.
absolutely,
Like, I know, and she hugged me, and I just felt it. I was like, oh my god, like, that's power.
Because
That's
you
powerful,
had
like,
the balls to go out there and put yourself on film and expose those wounds of yours.
Yeah,
And a lot of people can't do that.
That I might have helped someone, one person, is crazy to me. I can't wrap my head around it. So
well, we know that's not the case when we get to Comic-Con. It's not just one person. And we'll talk about Comic-Con in a minute.
Yeah.
What other thoughts do we have on the Highland screening?
Just it was so chaotic, but it was so great. It was such a wonderful experience, and there was a certain warmth of seeing it with family and friends and hearing the way they reacted to the film after it was done, and seeing how excited everybody was to see it, hearing them react to the trailers, hearing them react to Goodnight, and I totally see now why you said Goodnight was such a good fit.
Yeah,
for
absolutely.
Nintendo Quest to play in front of it. Just a great experience. And then, like you said, we weren't able to kind of hang out too much at the theater after the fact, but we had our little after party at Call the Office kind of unofficially there.
The unofficial,
getting a chance to kind of the totally
the most
unauthorized after party.
Yeah.
But yeah, getting a chance to walk around and talk to people, and having people who were Kickstarter backers come up and shake my hand and tell me how great the film was and how much they enjoyed it and how much it meant to them, and having there's that couple who's been at so many of our local events just come out and talk my ear off about how much they love the film and how much they love GamerCast. And just seeing that impact on people is just really, really incredible.
Was that Amy and Dave?
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah, those guys are great.
There you go.
Yeah, Amy and Dave. I
met Amy and Dave at the Forest City Comic-Con. We met them there.
So,
They had the Diablo sword.
Which is awesome.
They showed us.
Yeah.
And those guys are just awesome. They were hanging out with us on the patio at Call the Office and even inside and just...
And again...
They were talking about inside jokes that we talked about on the GamerCast.
Totally were, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I think that was a first for me.
That was cool.
They
were... It's funny because we mentioned Master Yoda, and even I think the pre-record, you're telling Ian to hang a jacket on him.
Yeah.
And they were waiting to see Yoda in the movie because of the reference.
Yeah, Amy was so excited to see Yoda because she'd heard so much about him on the podcast. And that may be the first public acknowledgement of, oh man.
Yoda actually was in a movie called Star Wars.
What?
So I don't know if you guys have seen it.
Not
There's a few episodes.
Never heard of it.
Yeah. Never heard of it, Stan Tip.
But yeah, no, it was cool to meet people. And again, she's a great example of someone who got the Blu-ray ahead of time. She even brought it to the theater along with her other goodies from Kickstarter for us to sign it, but she didn't watch it because she wanted to experience it in a public place. Let's shift gears to London Comic-Con. So late night, Friday night, I think I didn't crash till like 3:30, 4 a.m. And then we had to be at Comic-Con at 9 a.m. the next day to finish setting up the booth, get our merch out there, and just kind of get the lay of the land. What did you think, Jay? Because it was you and I mainly.
I think the London Comic-Con was one of my favorite cons of all time. It was really cool, first of all, that we just got to get up and go 20 minutes down the road.
Yes.
But the layout, it was at the Produce Building and the Western Fair District in our town of London, Ontario here. And it was so spacious and everything was laid out so perfect.
There's a nice ergonomic flow.
You didn't feel constricted, you didn't feel tight, it wasn't a big chore to get from here to there. And there was so many awesome celebrities and so many great booths.
And it was cool,
I had a blast,
because we really got a chance to talk to people, too. Like, there's the sales pitch, of course, like, you know about Nintendo Quest? Yeah, I know. What do you know? But then it's like, so they're like, they start talking about, what this is, and then you can actually sit there and talk to them and find out who they are, and, really, and then people come by, they're like, yeah, this sounds great, I want to check it out. I think the ratio was probably 20%, that as soon as they heard the pitch, their money was out before the end of the pitch. Like, yeah, I got to buy this. Or people just come and say, I want this, take my money.
Yeah, I didn't get a chance to come out on Saturday. I got to take a nice reprieve by going to work on Saturday instead of going to the con.
Sure, lucky you.
But I was there on Sunday, and while you guys were away from the table, there were a couple of times where I literally had somebody walk, and I could see them coming from like 30 feet away, basically with the mic out already.
Yeah.
Coming back because they talked to you about it the day before, or they'd been at the screening on Friday, and they had a chance to see it, and they needed to have a copy.
It was nice to see our hometown with such an impressive group of, celebrities and just stuff like that. It was really cool. I'm proud of my town right now.
Yeah, I'm also proud of my town insofar as I need to give a shout out to the Early Bird for those amazing pulled pork sliders they had.
Oh yeah, I heard they have a permanent restaurant downtown London on Richmond.
That is some of the best breakfast you will find in London.
Gotta do it.
So good.
And Mill Street.
At Mill Street.
There was a beer booth.
Jay's favorite recent beer.
Yeah. That was awesome. I had a couple beers there.
It was awesome. FM96 had me on air plugging Nintendo Quest, of course. Ryan Bates at UWO at CHRW had me do an interview early Friday. Awesome, FM96, Sarah Burke had us do interviews too. I mean, it was just a massive community thing. Woodrow even let me interview him from FM96 about the He-Man talk on Sunday, which was pretty funny to hear.
Speaking of which, you got to roam around and work on the dock a bit, and we got some awesome sketches from...
Isaac. I was waiting to see if you knew his name, but yeah, Isaac. Because did I tell you didn't know your name too? He's like, what's that guy's name again?
Oh, I feel a little better now.
Yeah, he kept
going.
He
doesn't know my girlfriend on Facebook, as I threatened him with, apparently.
So. Yeah, that was pretty funny. No, Isaac did some great stuff. He did you and Optimus and...
he made us... Well, he didn't actually make me a sketch,
paid him for it, by the way.
he drew a Luke Skywalker from A New Hope, which he gave to me.
So awesome.
And then he drew... Rob, what did he draw you?
He drew me Skeletor and Panther. It was awesome.
And then he drew you.
Yeah, he was doing a Masters of the Universe sketch for Rob, and Rob's like, hey man, do you know any Transformers stuff? And he's like, I could, yeah, sure. And he's like, do you mind doing a Grimlock for Standbuck here? That'd be really cool.
Can you do one for Standbot?
You refer to yourself as Standbuck?
Optimus Standbot.
So he did Grimlock like in T-Rex mode with Prime riding him like in the new Transformers films.
But like a throwback.
But yeah, like in G1 style.
Yeah,
it's awesome.
I saw it on Facebook. It's very cool.
Super
very
cool.
cool.
Yeah, no, really, really awesome.
Oh yeah, because you didn't come out on Sunday. You were there on Saturday. What did you think of London Comic?
Yeah, it was good. I've never been to any type of con before, so...
And I did stand corrected. I didn't think they would be selling alcoholic beverages, but you thought, no, it's a given. It's a public event, as apparently is the case with England.
Yeah, it was cool. I got to see a lot of things. Charles Martinet was there, although I didn't get his autograph.
Voice of Mario.
Yeah. I enjoyed it.
And you got to see part of the film again for the second time.
I did. I probably watched the second half, maybe, something like that.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah.
Which is very cool.
Yeah.
Some game merch there too.
There was some stuff. It was very expensive.
Did you guys pick up? Did you pick up anything, guys, at London Comic Con? We didn't have a lot of time shopping. Yeah.
I didn't buy anything.
I got
Oh no! Wait, I got a comic.
Yeah, you got a comic.
Yeah. Okay, it was a. Who was it? It was a Moon Knight comic.
No.
It said Moon Knight on the label.
Moon Knight is on like the Marvel logo.
But is that the first appearance of Moon Knight?
I don't know.
No, probably not.
I don't know anything.
But why did you get it though?
Because the top of it was sticking out of one of the racks.
So it popped out, called to you like a green sign.
The whole thing was flush, and there's one sticking out, halfway back. So I pulled it out, and then I pull it out, and I see it was released on my birthday. So, you can't ignore a sign.
You got it. You got it.
So it was an issue of the Defenders.
I think it is. I don't know. I don't.
It was.
It was. Yeah.
Yeah, it's Defenders.
I don't read these things.
Did we pick up anything, or did we pick up anyone?
Oh. Well, there's a little bit of hunting always going around.
Limbs.
For that guy over there, Mr. Bartlett. He's
there was a dude that was selling prints of Star Wars Force Awakens, and I got a really cool Kylo Ren with stormtroopers behind him. And I also got another Kylo Ren Target exclusive dolly, a pop figure, which is awesome because there's no more Target in Canada, so
yeah,
I got it.
I think we're gonna call it Amiibo for a second. I don't know why.
Yeah, kind of like.
We saw a few Kylos wandering around the show.
There's a couple of kids dressed like Kylo Ren. It was awesome. I was so jealous. I wanted to take their costume.
What about that R2D2?
Oh man.
Oh man, what a great costume.
What a great droid.
Oh man.
Yeah, what a great droid.
So we get there the final day, Sunday, and I hear R2. I'm like, what? And he's like talking to me. He's like across the way, so I go around and it's a full-on astromech.
I noticed at this point, Jay, you're actually just talking directly to the camera instead of to us. You gotta talk to us. You gotta open up the camera.
Oh yeah.
I'm like, why are you not looking at us?
And so there's this guy that spent the last 2 years, of his life, hobby style, reconstructing R2, and he controlled it with a PS3 remote, which was completely awesome. Is everything good?
Yep.
Yeah, so he controlled it with a PS3 remote, and he would kind of like hide it behind his back. Stop making me laugh. Yeah, so he would hide it behind his back, and people would just go up to R2, and then he'd make R2 react in different ways, and when R2 gets electrocuted in Jedi, all his circuits pop out, and he would do that. When Boba Fett came around, there was a guy dressed like Boba Fett. Oh, it was awesome. I wanted that so bad.
You kept petting him like a pet. You're like, oh, good R2. Oh,
that's true.
Honest to God, I felt like Luke. I was just like, okay, good. And it was weird.
When does Luke go up to R2 and say, good?
When they're alone.
Yeah, and expanded universe stuff.
Oh, yeah. Good.
No, it's good. And I asked the dude, I'm like,
good.
I asked the dude, I'm like, hey.
Oh, yeah. Luke says, you're doing good.
You've done good,
Can you
Troy.
get R2 to come by the booth and sell a few DVDs for us over here? And he's like, yeah. So R2 got to stop by our booth and he stood
cool.
there for a while. It was
very
awesome.
cool.
It was awesome, man.
It was good stuff.
And I got to see myself as an action figure.
Yeah, that
because
post
they had
gone over very well.
a Bristol pack open, and I got to stand in it with a Sith lightsaber, it was Vader's, and it was a lot of fun. I was surprised at how well the con was. It was just awesome.
It's a first-year con, so you never know, right? It's always a little bit of a gamble.
Brilliant.
We did
awesome.
well in terms of disc sales and getting the word out, and it was cool to see a lot of people that we had known from the past just coming out to a local event and seeing them support them, like, oh, hey, man, how's it going? And then just constantly running into people and then telling them about the movie. It was very cool. Cool.
We ran into a lot of people from our past.
Yeah, exactly.
Old bosses that we used to work
Yeah.
for, and I ran into Andrew, and we ran into John from Pizza Hut and stuff. It was wicked.
It was cool. I did want to give a big shout out to Retro City Games, who while we were at Comic-Con in London, had their 1-year anniversary party.
Oh, yeah.
So they've been open a whole year now. I've done a bunch of videos for them. You'll see them on Facebook, so go to facebook.com and search out Retro City Games, located in Henderson, Nevada, which of course is in the Las Vegas area. And they're a key GamerCast sponsor still, so they deserve the shout out anyway.
Doug and Nicole, let's hear for those guys right here. Come on. You guys are awesome.
Of course, I mentioned already, our film goes on sale October 1st via Vimeo exclusively. I think it's for 60 days before it hits iTunes. So if you want to wait till iTunes, it'll be on there. But you should be able to get the disc on October 1st through the link again on NintendoQuest.com. It's printing on demand, so they're not going to be sitting in a warehouse anywhere. As you order it, they make it and they'll send it out to you. They're basically the middleman. I have nothing to do with that, but it's cool that we actually have that option now. And again, that's a result of the last Kickstarter success, so that's pretty fantastic. Again, thanks to Game Cycle FM 96 Highland Cinema for helping us out at London Comic-Con. Got a lot of topics here, guys. I'm not sure how we're doing on showtime.
About 40 minutes.
Okay, so we're doing well. Just a bunch of maybe grab bag stuff. It was announced, I think, recently that there's going to be no campaign mode on Black Ops for the PS3 360 on the most recent title. What do you guys think about that?
Really?
A previous gen version is getting a stripped down edition.
That's not the first. NHL is totally stripped.
Sure.
Completely stripped.
Yeah. But what do you guys think of that?
Why would they do that?
They just want to make it like a multiplayer only
Oh,
thing.
no, they don't have the technology.
Oh, okay.
The technology is not advanced enough because it was developed on next gen.
Oh,
they
okay.
can't have the story. So they don't want to cut 360 and PS3 people off. So it's like, okay, here's at least something. This is your last year.
Well,
this is a hint. Get a new console. That's what they're saying.
Okay, I mean, it makes sense from that angle to do that.
Glenn, how do you feel about that?
I don't know. Like, I can see where there would be a market for an online-only Call of Duty game. Just in the same sense that there's a market for something like Titanfall or something like Evolve.
Splatoon.
Whatever, Splatoon, whatever you want it to be. It's.
You can play Evolve offline.
I think that's a bit of a bitter pill to swallow for somebody who's been with the series for a while and is sort of seeing the series kind of pass them by. I understand why they did it, and honestly, in one respect, you can kind of look at it like, well, at least they made one for it this year.
Yeah.
Because that's not the case with everything, right? You're not going to get Batman Arkham Knight on a current gen console.
Yeah.
I shouldn't say current gen, but a last gen console at this point.
More's the pity, because that is one game that I really want to play.
It's fantastic.
There we go.
Esque. But yeah, it's so I guess there's two sides of looking at it, I suppose. But that does seem to be kind of, I would say that if we haven't heard the death knell for the current gen stuff or the last gen stuff,
Which is unfortunate because there's still a ton of titles coming out. I mean, the PS3 has oodles of JRPGs still coming out for it. And I think that's going to keep that system alive, probably for another year, I think. Goes away, at least. What do you guys think?
I really think it's great of Activision, and I'm not one who usually speaks highly of Activision because I think they're personally responsible for destroying their own franchise, but I think to give at least last gen guys something to play who are not ready to take that leap, I think it's great.
There's probably not then any cross-generational play. So
No,
people on
absolutely
PS3
not.
and Xbox 360 will have to play with the other watered-down kind of
The NHL
survivors.
too, Rob, you'll appreciate this. The NHL for PS3 and 360, I don't know the guy.
This year's?
I don't know the guy on the cover.
Man Taze.
Okay.
the sports man.
But the last gen just has a Stanley Cup. And it's not even called NHL
I saw
16.
that.
It's
It's
just
called NHL Legacy?
Legacy, yeah.
Yeah.
It's not even the same title.
Huh.
So
What do you?
So, yeah.
Mario Maker's been out now for almost a month. By the time this comes out, it'll be out about a month. Lots of talk. People are still posting lots of codes. Ian was saying the other day that his Facebook feed is just full of Mario Maker codes.
It is indeed.
What do you guys think the future of Mario Maker is, or content creation games? Can we say that this is a game changer? Is there longevity in this? What can they do to add longevity? What do you think?
I think it's a good thing, and I can see it working with other franchises.
Well, that was going to be my follow-up question, but just strictly with Mario Maker.
I think Mario Maker is really good. Personally, I've put it down a little bit the last few weeks. Beyond probably the first week of getting it and making lots of levels and just playing it.
Well, you waited actually like a week or so too.
Yeah, I did. But when you think about the premise of the game, and okay, it's Mario. We've all played Mario. It's that. Initially, it seemed to me like I kind of thought, I don't know how much depth there's going to be in this, or like you say, the longevity of it, because you think, well, okay, so you put some levels together and you're excited about Mario because it's in everyone's history and you like it, but in that simplicity there is something really quite magical about it, and I think that's going to go on for a long time. But also for me, everybody is obviously doing the same thing and everybody wants everybody to play the levels. And I think people might just get fed up with the bombardment of all those levels. And, because that's a big thing of making the basis of the game, or the community for the game. I think that might struggle a little bit over time, unless they add new things. Obviously, the more you play, you open up the unlockables, etc.
Sure.
But maybe they might have to change something up in 6 months' time, or somehow add something to do to keep it moving on.
Let me ask you something. Do you think it's doing so well because it's the Mario franchise, or because the interface is so user-friendly?
I think it's probably both of those things.
Like Little Big Planet, in my opinion, is very messy.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's very easy to use. Everybody can get with Mario Maker. But yeah, it's both those things. It's instantly accessible. It's maybe the most classic franchise. Everyone's going to
absolutely.
Glenn, have you played around with it yet?
I haven't even had a chance to pick it up yet, which I feel really bad about. I'm a little bit heartbroken at that. It's just the funds haven't been there to play it, but it's been
Or
really,
the time.
Or that, frankly, either, yeah.
Power Tour.
Sonic Racing All-Stars Transformed. GameCube.
Also,
Wii U.
It has been great to see that Nelly is the second item that I need to spend some time with. It's been great to see, again, social media. My Facebook feed's been blowing up with people sharing levels. I don't know how I feel about the code thing. That seems like it's kind of laborious.
That is, I think, a really, really bad point of it. There needs to be an easier way. I think somebody is talking about how that's going to get changed or maybe developed. I think if you have, followed friends, etc., you should be able to access that much easier. I know
it should be like a daily feed within the game.
Yeah, I know that you can, once you find people, you can like somebody and then you'll see their stuff.
Yeah, but you think that would be built in since you already have friends through your Miiverse. Why do you have to go and essentially add them again?
Absolutely. And that
I went ad nauseum on an article I wrote for GameSource, who obviously does a lot of interviews with us and hosted the Vegas screening. I don't do reviews for them, I just give them my impressions, no scores, just what I love, what I'd like to see what happen with it. And I wrote a long one on Mario Maker. It's so close to being such a great thing that one big update, I know what a big update is or how long that would take, but there's a whole bunch of little things they could do to really take it to the stratosphere, I think. The big question, the follow-up, and I've seen this online, I think maybe you guys have too, Ian alluded to it earlier, doing something like this with other franchises. Even Jay, your question, is it just the Mario or is it the interface? So imagine you had the same interface. What other franchises would you like to see where you can do level creations?
I think Mega Man would work really well.
Absolutely.
I think Zelda would be limited in as much as...
Unless it was Zelda 2.
Yeah, maybe. I think you could have Zelda, but with obviously just dungeons or something like that. You obviously couldn't go around making huge overworlds unless they were...
Yeah, it wouldn't be that easy, right?
No, yeah. And obviously the amount they'd have to put into it to allow you to have that space to then create it all is going to be so hugely involved. But I think something like Mega Man, the basis of the levels and the simplicity of the design generally would work really well. And
one game that we were actually playing today that hit me right away the second I was watching it was Super Ghosts and Goblins. I'd love to see a level designer for that.
Yeah, that could actually be pretty fantastic. Yeah, it really could.
I love that game.
Even Donkey Kong. Imagine
I said this to somebody else. Donkey Kong to me,
or Donkey Kong Jr.
Would be an obvious one to do.
There you go, Nintendo Maker.
Nintendo carts,
Yeah,
right?
there you go.
Goes back to that. Glenn?
I want to take this in a little bit of a different direction and talk about the new Doom game that Bethesda's got coming out. And they spent a lot of time during their E3 presentation talking about the level creation tools and the map building tools for that and how easy they were going to be to use, and bringing that stuff to a console audience as well as the PC audience that is traditionally for. We're talking a lot about all these different 2D kind of old school classic franchises, but I'm kind of curious to see if they could do something with the 3D space that maybe Mario Maker's helped push the door open slightly for it. That's really interesting
I think
well, that would be great, man. Like, and Ian, I'll let you get to it, because I think when we first started talking about level design on that episode, when I really first started thinking about it, wasn't the side-scrolling platforms, it was the deathmatch, the multiplayer stuff.
Yeah.
What is, the great way to kind of build that level where people are going to interact, and where would you put like the good weapons, and what would you make players go through?
I think the whole creation side of it, that whole thing of games is definitely going to open up.
You think it's going to open up?
Yeah, I think it will. I mean, Nintendo always come along and do these things which kind of seem obvious, but they're the ones to do it, and then other people start looking at it, and then there'll be other platforms or incorporations. But yeah, I think it's going to happen now.
Ian, I'm going to ask, and I don't want to cut. I know Jay obviously has something he wants to say, but I just wanted to ask, because we have touched on this on a GamerCast episode before.
And I know you've listened to that.
So you prepared your answer.
Which one was it?
Yeah.
Do you think it's just a matter of the tools? Is it as simple as that?
They all blend together.
The tools?
The tools, like the tools being good enough and being intuitive enough?
Absolutely. I mean, that's
Is that just the difference?
for anything that's going to be design based, that obviously has to be the basis of anything. If you're going to make something quickly, and it has to be easy enough that anybody and all ages can get on board with it and do it. If it's too complicated, then people are just going to go, well, why am I doing this? I'll just play the game, or I won't bother picking it up. So yeah, the basis of it is the design tool.
Jay?
No, I was just going to say Mario Kart Maker. I just thought of that.
Yeah.
I'm surprised there hasn't been one of those.
Even just a track building mode for Mario.
Yeah, I was thinking even if they limited to the SNES version where it's all essentially 2D and you just draw your course and stuff like that. You talk about maybe it's going to open up, and the last thing that I can really think of that hit a Nintendo console that really just opened up and went beyond was multiplayer on console. Like, it did exist before, but you look at stuff like GoldenEye, and after GoldenEye, everything seemed to have a multiplayer component. So now we're like we talked about earlier. Now games are just multiplayer only.
Absolutely.
Jay, what do you think?
I think if it's warranted. Again, I mean, I don't know how you feel about BioShock 2, the multiplayer in that. I feel it was kind of tacked on. I think if the franchise warrants it, and I don't know how to explain it any further, just if it feels like it needs it, then go for it. But I don't want every single game to have multiplayer just because that's what it's supposed to be next,
Yeah, I know, working in the game industry at the time that I did, there seemed to be an expectation on the part of a developer that there had to be a multiplayer mode, but there also seemed to be that from the audience too. I definitely overheard more than a few people shopping at my store going, oh, well,
sure,
it's only one player.
And now it's the other side. It's like, oh, where's the campaign?
Yeah, and it's true. I mean, like with Titanfall, I would have loved if Titanfall had a single player mode so I could actually get good at it before I went in and started playing.
Yeah, I do.
I like that if I'm playing Destiny, if I want to play multiplayer in Crucible and I got a group of buddies to do it with, I can do that. But if I don't, just all that tons of PvE content I can do. I can do raids, I can do strikes, I can run bounties. BioShock, I never felt like BioShock was a game that needed to have multiplayer. To me, that wasn't the good part about BioShock. The gameplay was only part of what I enjoyed about it, right? It was the story and the atmosphere and everything else. Metroid Prime 2 had multiplayer. Why does a Metroid game have multiplayer?
Well, it won't Freedom Force Fusion or whatever it's called have multiplayer too?
Who cares?
Oh, here we go.
I signed a petition telling Nintendo that they have to stop making it.
You did not, did
I'm
you?
Kidding, no.
You
bastard.
He did it.
Ian, do you have any thoughts on that game?
Which game?
Metroid Freedom Force Fusion Fighters or what?
Metroid Prime Freedom.
It's the 3DS game.
I've never played it or anything like that. But
It's not out
yet.
Oh,
But
okay.
it's the big Metroid announcement at E3
They showed
that
it off at
Nintendo
E3,
announced, and everyone lost their minds because it was like cartoon versions of that universe, and it wasn't like an adult Samus.
Was it Force Federation or something?
Yeah.
Federation Force or something.
Yeah, Metroid Federation.
Jean from CollectorVision has played it, and he said to me it's actually a really, really good game.
Does it need to be a Metroid title?
I don't think so.
Right.
Obviously, I mean, that franchise is pretty much tacked on. But he did say it is a really good game to play.
Sure.
Yeah.
Got a big question for you guys. I got a couple topics before we get to our Patreon exclusive section. What is the game you could wish you could go back and play for the first time again?
Oh, wow.
Oh, man. What a good question. Cheers.
Insane question.
Mine is Okami, and I actually just did that.
Nice. Okay.
Glenn? Jay's thinking.
I'm thinking. It hurts.
What's the game you wish you could go back and play again for the very first time?
I kind of wish I could play Super Mario Brothers with fresh eyes again.
Sure.
You know, it's just become so ingrained in who I am and who we all are.
Do you think that would be different though if you did it now?
Given current gen, and you were like when you first played it, it was
I think
obviously
that's a
current
good
gen.
question.
I think the thing is a lot of people say with Mario especially is because that system was new to them at the time. People were struggling with the controllers. You know, most people say, "Well, I came on the screen, I moved one screen, the first enemy came, I misjumped it and died, and then I had to pass it to my brother or whoever." You know, and people were, "I haven't seen this thing. You know, what do these buttons do?" So that was half of the confusion and the learning that came with that initial process of the game.
So you're asking me essentially if 38-year-old Glenn, who's played 3D games and has an Xbox One,
Yeah, I mean, if you
PC,
went back, if you saw it, for
had
the
never
first time
somehow
ever,
avoided playing Super Mario
Yeah.
Brothers or having any knowledge of Super Mario Brothers, would it be the same coming back and playing it?
Yeah.
It's a really good question.
It's not a caveat I really considered in the question. To me, it was like if you could go back to when you're like 7 or 8 years old.
Yeah, if I could have the
Like,
experience
if
of
you
playing
could
that
go back
game
to when
again
you're
for the first time,
15.
I think of that. That would be a big one. Metal Gear Solid would be a big one. I think. I found.
Are there any
playing the first Metal Gear
games?
Solid to be a
Are
really
there any
profound
games
experience.
which you've played that have had really fantastic intros? Whether it just be graphical
Yeah.
or the beginning of the storyline, anything you've put in and you just thought, "Shit, like,
Yep.
this is
Bioshock.
just
And it would
blowing
be
me
my
away."
pick. Yeah, it would.
And it's
Child of Light. I wish I could go
oh
back
wow,
and play that
yeah,
game first
yeah,
time.
that game is
I
fantastic.
think about the intro to Bioshock, and there's so few times I remember buying a game I was excited for and putting it in and playing like the first 10 minutes of it and going, "Oh man!"
When that happens
I'm
to you, it's such a fantastic thing when it happens to you. So especially like when you've been waiting for something, or even if you don't know much about it, but somebody's
When it just
"You need
takes you
this
out
game."
of nowhere.
Yeah, you know, when it's just the graphical is happening to you and the music and excuse me,
You forget you're playing a game.
yeah, and everything happens, and yeah, and you meet the big save point, and it could be like an hour in or 2 hours or something, and you just realize that's just gone away out of nowhere,
Yeah.
and you've just been totally absorbed into that game.
Have you got one, Jay?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, and the first Knights of the Old Republic.
Oh, it's a good call.
Yeah, because that was one of the first times when you were actually living in the Star Wars world. So I got a quick one. I don't know. I know you have
It's okay, go ahead.
stuff going on, but what's the last game that you guys played until your eyes bled? where you were falling asleep, but you just couldn't stop playing it because it was so good.
Oh wow.
Really easy because it happened recently. Fallout 3. I hadn't played any of the Fallouts. It was
Yeah,
upon your recommendation, getting excited before even the trailer for Fallout 4 came at the Game of the Year edition. Didn't realize I'd been playing it for like 9 hours.
Wow.
Yeah, like it's like, oh my god.
For me, probably Okami again. I mean,
Yeah.
it was about 2 weeks ago. I deleted my original save file, which I think is, I don't know, had a lot of hours on it. But I just started all over again, and that has both of those things we just touched on. The intro, probably the first 50 minutes of that game is just magical.
I gotta
Everything
play it.
about it is magical.
I got it. I just gotta play. Like even Child of Light.
You never played it?
No, I haven't.
Oh.
It's on my back.
Wow, it's
Same
just
with Journey for that matter.
It's fantastic. It really
Even
is.
with Child of Light, I played almost all the way through in the first pass, which was probably like 10 or 12 hours. But I knew I'd gotten further enough, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna go to sleep, and I know I'm gonna finish it tomorrow. But Fallout, I just wanted to keep playing. It's like, oh my god, my eyes are killing me.
Do you have the 5 add-ons too? You have
Yeah.
the Game of the Year, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm trying to do it in order. I know you told me to go here because the good weapons and stuff like
Right,
that.
just-
But I'm just trying to kind of feel out like how I would play and stuff. So, yeah, Glenn.
It's going to be a really boring answer, but Destiny.
Yeah, I played a lot.
Honestly, it's
The beta, I played it nonstop.
it's not even like is it partly the game? Yeah, but it's just the community. Like all the cool people I know, all my friends, all the friends I've made, just getting to do stuff with them, whether it's one more round of Crucible with a group of 5 buddies, or trying to beat a raid boss and it's like 3 o'clock in the morning and you have to go to sleep, but you don't want to throw in the towel because you're so close to getting it done.
And then that's tough too, because it's like, if you throw in the towel, that you're kind of, everyone else is going to fall.
Yeah, it's almost like you got
have
this.
to
Okay, we'll all go to bed.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
who's gonna pass out, Glenn? Who's gonna leave the party?
Why are you going to sleep, Glenn?
Where you going, Glenn? We got one more run to do.
Why are you going to sleep,
And especially and that's just been renewed with Taken King, because you talk about that whole, just one more and I go to bed, one more game, I go to bed, and with Taken King it's like, okay, well, one more quest, I'll just finish this quest and I'll go to bed. And you finish the quest and there's another damn quest, and there's just always
and it sounds
another
like a good quest.
There's always another quest. Always another quest, and now you can see what you get, and you're like, what? I get a legendary machine gun if I finish this? Alright, sure. Why not?
Yeah, why not?
Who needs to be awake tomorrow?
That's no big deal.
So it's a boring answer because that game comes up so much.
That was
for
a
me,
good
but-
answer.
but it's true.
I still haven't played the
It's
game.
true.
Still haven't played it.
So if you're our Patreon exclusive listener, this is where you get to keep listening, and you're actually going to get 2 extra topics since we're kind of running over our regular time for the casual show or the free show on Podomatic. But all you Patreon people, after the warp pipe sound, you get to hear 2, actually I think pretty fun topics. So if not, we'll see you at the end of the show.
Ka-chunk, ka-chunk, ka-chunk.
Guys, there was a pretty big scientific announcement made today. At the time of this recording, I didn't listen to all the details, but essentially they've said they found salt water flowing on Mars. Now this is a pretty big deal because there's essentially, I don't want to say confirmed possibility of life on another planet, but this is like changing the way we think of other planets in the universe now, definitely and concretely. The question on the gamer side is that, what has been that life-defining thing that changes everything? What's the gaming equivalent of that?
Wow.
Where you're like, oh my god, I never
What's the
expected...
gaming equivalent of salt water on Mars?
Yeah. Oh man, what a great question.
The first thing that comes to my mind that blew me away from the norm of what I knew a video game to be was Dragon's Lair. Dragon's Lair was the first Laserdisc game and the first real-life cartoon.
Yeah.
I mean, you looked at, you had Asteroids, you had Pac-Man, you had vector graphics, you had this and that. But Dragon's Lair was a cartoon.
Yeah.
And you're controlling Dirk. You're controlling the cartoon. Is it Dirk?
Yeah.
It's Dirk, yeah. You're controlling
Dirk
the
the
cartoon. And that my very first, Dragon's Lair.
That's a good one, man. That's really good.
I am going to say World of Warcraft.
Oh, man.
Oh, good
What
one.
a great answer.
I think because there have been online games before World of Warcraft, there have been massively multiplayer online games before World of Warcraft, but I think World of Warcraft really showed how viable online was as the future of gaming.
I'm going to go to...
Love it or hate it, it's. I think it changed the world.
I'm going to go on a similar route, man, and say either Doom 2 or Jedi Knight online, playing with people that weren't in the same room as us. And how many hours did we sink into multiplayer? We would phone modems, hang it up, play, go outside and run to see our buddy down the street saying, oh my god, can you believe that? Yeah, let's go do another match, and run back in the house.
And multiplayer, in the very most primitive form, it was you versus me.
Yeah.
It was one-on-one.
Yeah.
That was it.
Yeah.
And it was so mind-blowing to us that... and remember a lot of the times we'd be like, don't kill me, don't kill me, don't kill me. And we'd just walk around and look at each other and kind of think. It was like, this is
check out my Captain Kirk skin with a candy cane lightsaber.
All the mods.
And then all of a sudden, shot with the sniper rifle, point blank. Yeah. Ian. Water on Mars moment for gaming.
I think mine would be also online, but it would be Rock Band.
Cool.
Going around with my friends before. I don't think I.
What a great question! This might be the best question we've had.
I don't think I had a
It's
360 at the time, but my friend always got everything as soon as it came out. And I remember going around there, and it was all online, and we were playing with the headsets on. You're going into the waiting area, and there's you've got a drummer from Japan, and someone else on the guitar from Spain, and we were all there just drunk, and it's just that whole thing. And there was just that moment when you think you're all in your living rooms doing the same thing, having this same piece of enjoyment, but with people you've never met, and they're literally all over the world at this moment doing this thing.
That's one of those games too where you get the benefit of the online experience, but that's a game that really brought back the whole couch experience too. Having all your buddies in the same room. How many Rock Band parties do you have?
That game is just...
It's what we played almost exclusively.
Just the idea of it is just...
But you're combining video games and music.
Yeah. And you look at who we are.
And it's the fact of, if you're someone that wants to play an instrument, or, you get the guitar, and you are a guitarist, and you are the rock star, and you're rocking it out, and those songs which you love, you're doing them, you're making them happen.
But Ian, you don't play covers.
I don't play covers now.
But you play Rock Band.
It doesn't count. They do.
Oh, come on. Come on.
And on the subject of the online too, talk about a game that does DLC about as well as you can possibly do it, and showing the power of having
every single Tuesday they brought songs out from the time of the release till the very end.
And I know we've all had our issues with downloadable content. We've all had our issues with I download this now. Do I get to keep it? Whatever. But I mean, honestly, in the moment,
that's at the bar.
Just being able to buy that new song every Tuesday and have it for that Saturday when your buddies came over.
Do you remember the parties we would have and people would come here and bring Xbox cards?
It was an event.
Xbox cards to buy the songs they wanted, man. Like that's crazy.
It was an event. Like back when Cam and I lived together and we had the two TVs back to back and we had the whole instrument thing spread across our living room.
Yeah.
And it was just this crazy. It was literally like a concert. You had like a semicircle of people, like basically standing watching the TVs.
Awesome.
Waiting for their chance to play, and then the band kind of switching off between songs. It's just incredible.
It has to be the ultimate multiplayer game that exists because it doesn't matter about.
Well, that's a big question.
The thing is,
look at World of Warcraft.
Yeah, but it takes down the boundaries of people who you may call are gamers as such, because you don't have to be it can just be your girlfriend who she doesn't play any games, she doesn't have any console, but she can play a guitar,
she
can play bass on the song she really likes, and Rock Band or singing.
It's bringing
you say bass like it's the easiest option.
It is. I play it.
Yet again, the most valued member of the band.
There are no other multiplayer games that can do that. There are no others that don't have a context of being either a shooting game or an adventure game or something like that.
Everybody knows that top 40 song.
Everybody has a song they like, and everybody else is prepared to play it with them, and that doesn't exist.
And everyone gets excited for whoever's singing. Everyone gets excited for their turn to pick the song that they've been waiting for.
At least that's how we did, right? It was always the singer that got to pick.
Yeah, I think you win. That was awesome.
Thank you.
Last question I have. Unless you guys want to end on a high note, but this is a pretty fun question too. It kind of makes you think. What's the game you think you've recommended the most to someone else and why?
Oh.
Like the one that you've been the biggest cheerleader for. Like, oh, you have to play this game. What's the game that you've done that most?
Probably BioShock.
Okay, why?
I just love the hell out of BioShock. It's such a great game.
Sell me on BioShock.
I love BioShock because it is equal parts first-person shooter, but it's also first-person adventure. Like it does have a lot of elements to it that aren't shooter at all. It's got that kind of sandbox thing where you can use different powers to do different things. You don't have to shoot every enemy. You can electrocute. You can use all these different powers to do different things. You can play the game in a lot of different ways. It's a wonderful combination of high imagination and sci-fi and horror, and it does all those things equally well. It's got one of the best twists of any gaming plot ever.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
It's got an incredible story, really memorable characters. The fact that you are so brought into that world and you know so much about those characters just through audio dialogue, just through audio diary entries, and that you can, you have the option of hunting for them if you want to, and you can get as much of the story or as little story as you want. Again, it's got one of the all-time great intros of any game ever. One of the best first 5 to 10 minutes of any video game I've ever played. I love it to death, and I mean I think it still holds up incredibly well. Like even now, like God, what is that game? Like almost 10 years old now.
Sure.
That is frightening to think about.
2007. Yeah.
I was gonna say it's getting there, but still such an incredible game. Still holds up really well.
And this isn't. I mean, it may be your favorite game, but I mean, we talk about Super Metroid and Castlevania stuff and Metal Gear Solid. But this is the one game that you're the greatest cheerleader for. Like, If somebody had one game left to kind of play, what are you pitching? You'd say BioShock.
I absolutely would. Like, as much as I love Super Metroid, as much as I love Metroid Prime, as much as I love Super Mario Brothers, that to me is like, whether you love it or whether you hate it, I feel like that's a game everybody should at least have played.
Ian? And this is hard for you because you recommend a ton of games.
This is really, I mean, literally hundreds of games on.
I've bought games based off your recommendations.
On tons of platforms, but
that's the worst
I've said it already tonight, and I'm going to say it again. But I would say Okami, and
Okami.
In the last 2 weeks alone, I have.
But here's the thing: you've recommended that game the most in the last 2 weeks over any other game.
No, I'm just saying. Let me finish. In the last 2 weeks, I have personally bought 2 copies of that and just given them to 2 of my friends because I wanted them to experience.
I never
that
got
game
one.
so much.
Yeah, where's my copy?
I haven't given it to you yet.
Okay, good.
But yeah, that game is.
I can't imagine anybody ever buying a game for somebody because they wanted them to play it.
Let alone
I
a
did.
whole system.
Because, I did.
It's crazy.
Yeah, weird. And imagine that person didn't play it for over a month. How would you feel?
I've totally played that GameCube.
Yeah, but you haven't played Sonic.
They're like they're having some like aggressive flirting. I don't know what's going on right now.
Jay, what's the biggest game that you've been like the big cheerleader for?
World of Warcraft. It's the greatest game
Yeah,
ever
I can
made.
see that.
Absolutely.
You think?
I've never actually heard
I
you
did,
pitch
yeah.
that to people.
Yeah.
Like they got to play it though.
It's
I know you love it.
every game in one. It never ends, and it saves you money. Everyone complains that it's $15 a month, but it saves you money because you don't want to play anything else.
And it actively grows and it actively changes.
Yeah.
And I mean, I played World of Warcraft for a solid 2.5 years, and it's a fantastic game. And like, regardless of the criticism that gets levied at it,
I've never played it.
And rightly so, because there are people who have legitimate problems with that game and others, but
it's literally a perfect game.
But there's
It's
a reason
flawless,
why. It's
like-
because it's so well made.
Yeah.
I don't think it's flawless because people wouldn't quit it.
No, but usually people quit it because it is too good.
Yeah, like I quit
They
it
have
because I
problems
wanted to do
where
other things with my life.
They're losing their spouses. They're showing up late at work, or they're getting fired because they play the game so much they stay up all night. Because you have raid leaders that live in Los Angeles and you live in
It's the
Canada.
Destiny problem all over again.
Yeah, I mean, and you're staying up all night because you just want to do this. You want to accomplish all this stuff with your buddies. You can play it by yourself. You can play it with 25 friends if you want. Like
I don't know I played the first version. So
you played vanilla. You played in 2004, 2005,
and I got bored because I was soloing it.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's the same case now that where you have to play with people. It's the Destiny thing all over again. # play with Rob.
I can attest to the fact that Destiny gets exponentially better when you regularly have.
I bet it does, and I hear now most of our friends play on PlayStation 4.
We've got a fairly decent contingent of our friends playing it on PS4. I mean, most of my clan is gratefully on Xbox One. But,
Sure.
And I know a lot of people who have it on both. I know Taylor and Ryan both have it on both consoles. They play characters on both consoles, which is
right.
So
awesome.
that leaves you.
I honestly don't think I've recommended a game more ever than I have for Child of Light. As much as I talk about XCOM, I don't really push it on people because I just love XCOM. But I constantly tell people they got to play Child of Light. It is just that game that feels like the ultimate fairy tale. I've never played a game that felt like its own unique fairy tale, yet draws on so many things that are familiar, but puts you in a different place, and it's human, and it makes you think and feel things about your own life and how you would deal with them. It's that sense of fantasy and whimsy, and it just pulls you in all the right directions, and it's short enough that you can get through it. It is the definition of magic in a video game come to life, and the art style.
I agree 100%.